Hi everybody, I'm back. My name is Deszie and I live here with my little doggy Jiggy. He's over here. And my husband Kenny. I have a new channel now and it's just called Deszie. I had an older channel and it was called Dessie's Crochet Cubby. Now I had a lot of followers. I had close to 2,000. And there's kind of a story that I need to tell you guys. I felt that since I kind of dropped off the streets of YouTube, I owed you all an explanation of what had happened. So I do have notes down here that I'm going to be looking at because there's a lot that has happened since I don't know how many months have gone by since I have even made a video. But yeah, my other channel, it was I deactivated that. So I'm not even quite sure where to start. That's why I've been putting off, because there's just so much to say and I don't even really know where to begin. So if it's kind of jumbled, it's kind of jumbled, but at least I'll tell you what's going on. So this channel is going to be about life updates, what's going on with my life, what's going on with hubby, what's going on with my doggy, you know, and throwing in there my makes, my hobbies, you know, mostly it will be yarn hobbies, but I could throw in some other things here and there. But yeah, that's what I love to do. I like to make things with yarn, and I love to show off my makes. I enjoy it very, very much. My other channel was mostly about showing you my makes and not so much about my life. But this channel, I'm just gonna sprinkle in whatever, whenever, wherever I like, and I hope you all enjoy it. I hope you all stick with me. I would love to get my previous followers back and definitely some new ones. So welcome, welcome everybody. I am so glad you're here. I am so glad to be back. I'm not sure how often I'll be able to record with all that's going on and all that has gone on, but I'll try. You know, I really enjoy it. So I want to be here for you all, and it's kind of like a therapy for me too. So where have I been? Where have I been? Like I said, I had a previous channel and I had almost 2,000 followers. How can I even begin this? I guess I was in kind of a funk because everything that was going on. My husband was having health issues and I noticed a decline in him. I was having health issues. My dog was having health issues. We were having financial issues. And I was kind of like, you know, that it was starting kind of like whenever the prices of yarn was going up, everything was going up, and that was part of it because my husband lost his job over his health issues. So now he is totally retired. So we are just living off his Social Security income, which is not a whole lot. So I was kind of like, how can I even have a channel if I can't even buy yarns? I was just in a big funk, you know, over it all. So one day, I was sitting in front of, of the computer and I looked up how to deactivate your YouTube account. So I sat there with my finger on the button, press the button if you want to deactivate it, and all of your, I had like, oh, I can't even remember, what was it, 100, 200 videos, I can't even remember. So I had my finger on the button. I didn't do it that night, so the next morning, had my finger on the button, just sitting there thinking, you know, should I do it, shouldn't I do it? And then I turned my head, literally turned my head, and said, okay, just press the button. I pressed the button, and wham, everything was gone, and it was over. Yeah, it was over. So then after that, you know, like I said, my husband was having some health issues and I was very, very worried about him. He had, he said it was within the last couple years, but I think it was more like in the past year. He had a dramatic weight loss. And then I noticed other things. It was like the biggest thing, the thing that, well, I kept saying, you need to go to the hospital. Will you go to the hospital? Will you make a doctor's appointment? Will you call the ambulance? Oh, I will, I will, I will. Well, he never did. So one day, I got up, I got myself ready, and I came down the stairs and I told him, I said, okay, this is it. Because it was like the day before, he went out grocery shopping, and he literally could not bring in the groceries. He was out of breath. He was very, very weak. So he had me bring in the rest of them. This is not my Kenny. You know, this was not my Kenny. And he actually walked in with some of the groceries, sat down, and he said, I can't do it. I can't do it. He had his head in his hands. Okay, so back to the next day when I come down the stairs, I got ready. I come down the stairs and I had said, after the zillionth time, but I meant it this time. I said, okay, will you go to the hospital if I call the ambulance? And finally he said yes. So I called the ambulance and they came. And I don't really like how the people acted, you know, the people who came for him. But I don't blame them, but I still didn't like it very much. But like I said, my husband was very emaciated. He was actually down to 100 pounds. And he usually weighed like 150, 160. That's how much he had lost. And he was so very weak and so very tired. And, you know, breathing issues and things like that. A lot was going on. There was a lot he was hiding from me. And he was good at it. So like I said, the ambulance people came, and they're looking him over, and they're asking him questions while they're getting him into the gurney and ready to go and put him into the ambulance. But they look over at me, and the man comes up close to my face, and he's asking me stuff, and I felt that they thought that I was starving him or something. That was not the case whatsoever. Like I said, my husband was hiding things. I didn't know that he had not been eating. I mean, I noticed little things when I was making him dinners. You know, he always liked my food and he would eat a lot. Well, I noticed, you know, before all of this, I don't know, a few months back, whatever, I noticed he was, you know, eating a little bit of his food and shoving it aside. So I was like, okay, is my food yucky? What is going on here? I don't know. He was hiding things, like I said, but so we did get him into the hospital. Okay, like I said, I'm going to be looking down at these notes because there is a lot. Okay, so he was trying to hide it, and he was in denial because I was like, why wouldn't you let me call the ambulance before? He said he was in denial and he was afraid. So he was having trouble breathing. He was chronically fatigued. He was not eating. He was not himself. And he had this growth on his face for quite some time, and it was getting worse. I kept thinking it was cancer. So I was like, you got to get into the hospital. We got to get you in there. I'm really worried. It was turning black. It had black spots in it. It was getting wider. It was getting, you know, higher and wider on his face. Big circle. And it was scaling, it was bleeding, it was pussing, it was bad. I don't know if I have any pictures or not, but I'll put them up if I do, to show you. So those were some of the things that was going on. He was quite pale too. He was pale. He was in bad shape. He ended up staying in the hospital for 4 days, I think it was. And then when we finally got him home, it wasn't long after that a program, a new ANEW home health had come in, and that's when we found out, okay, there was a lady there was different people, like there was a social worker, there was somebody that was dealing with his throat, there was somebody that was dealing with exercises, helping him, just in all different directions they were helping him. But we found out the one lady that was helping him with his throat, okay, she had got results, and she had shared with us that Kenny has something called Zenker's diverticulum. I think that's what you call it. And it's a pouch inside his throat, I guess. And it was, I can't even figure out how to explain it. But he wasn't able to eat right because of that pouch in there. The pouch was squirting liquids where, you know, down, up, whatever. I don't know. It was causing him big swallowing problems. I don't know the whole story. You can look it up if you want. It's called Zenker's diverticulum. That was one of the things. So like I said, we had a new home health coming in, helping him with all kinds of things, therapies, bathing. He couldn't even walk up the steps by himself. He couldn't even walk up a couple of steps. So he was getting like sponge baths downstairs. I have like a potty chair thing that goes over top of a regular toilet, that has the arms on it, and it's raised up because our pot's very, very low. So we didn't have two, and we needed one downstairs. So they finally, after a long, long time, finally got one for him, which I ended up having to use downstairs too. So we did have a potty in our living room for a little while. I didn't like that much, but we had to do it. You know, he didn't have the strength to go up the stairs. So, but we had workers coming in and out and in and out, and I ended up having to get a thing for my phone. You know, you put your belt in it, and then it's like a pouch thing that you put around the belt, put the belt around you, put your phone in. So I was having to carry that little pouch around with me all the time because they were calling me. I mean, oh, so much. I was so stressed out. Oh, man. But he had lung issues. He had the throat issues. He had weakness in his legs. He was chronically fatigued. He ended up having high blood pressure. And he has atherosclerosis, I think is what it's called. So there is a danger of plaque breaking off and either going to his brain, causing a stroke, or it could break off and go to his lungs and he could die. So we have to worry about that too. Oh man, oh man. So he has had tests out the wazoo, scans, all kinds of stuff. He ended up having aspirative pneumonia. So that was a big thing. The thing on his face ended up being basal cell carcinoma, melanoma, but he ended up going in and having that actually scraped off. I mean, literally scraped off. And we had good news with that it was the kind of cancer that does not spread. So now he has a tiny scar, but that's gone. You know, he's thankful. I'm very thankful. Very, very thankful that wasn't nothing more than that. And he's also now on a pureed diet. So this was hard on me because I was having a lot of health issues too. And I still am. And I'll tell you about those too. But I had to take over everything. I had to take over all of the responsibilities in and out of the household, taking care of him. I became his caregiver. Yeah, and I was cleaning, having to go up and down them steps with the pot, you know, taking the potty chair pot and going up and emptying it and bringing it down. This was super hard on my legs, very, very hard on my legs. I have chronic fatigue, so this was exasperating it. I have anxiety, social anxiety, and I had not driven since 2018. So I had to actually start driving. And I mean, this was a lot for me. So you can imagine, I did have some breakdowns. I did have some breakdowns. I broke down in the car, you know, when I went out to go shopping. Right there in the parking lot, I broke down in the car and I was sobbing. And then I called one of the workers. Kenny ended up going from having a new home health care and then switching over to senior life. Yeah, and I kept calling it senior living. It's senior life. But so anyway, I had called the lady that I think she's the coordinator, but she also has become a friend. So when I was out in the car sobbing and sobbing uncontrollably, ugh, I was texting her and she was trying to calm me down, but yeah, so I broke down in the car. I broke down in the store. That was embarrassing. Here I am going through the store and I'm sobbing my head off. And there's a story behind that too. And then I was upstairs sobbing, sobbing, sobbing uncontrollably. I don't know. You know, you get all of this in you. You can only take so much and it has to come out. But I was trying to hide it from Kenny because I didn't want hubby cubby feeling bad, you know, feeling bad for putting me through this stuff too. It wasn't his fault, you know. So we got set up with Senior Life, like I said. I knew home health was out of it, which I was glad because they're the ones that mostly was constantly in and out of the house. They didn't even basically call. They would just show up. And that was making my anxiety skyrocket. But so lots of home visits, lots of paperwork, a lot of paperwork, phone calls. Oh man, I was just so stressed out and caring for him, and then I have to care for my dog too. And that sounds silly, but I mean, he's got something going on with him where he's losing almost all of his hair, and I'll show you that if I remember. He's not well, and he's going to be 14 years old here in February, so I worry about him passing away. You know, scared to death about that because he has been my little buddy, imagine, for almost 14 years. And what I got to do, because since he hardly has any teeth whatsoever, is I have to prepare food for him. And then he has a little wrap on him that I put a women's feminine pad on the inside of that wrap, and then I change those. So there's a whole little routine with him that I got to do too. So I was caring for him, and then now with what's going on with him, I'll fast forward a little bit. The vet had said that I need to bathe him with his medicated shampoo every other day. So here I am at the sink. My legs are weak. I have a lot going on. Like I said, I'll explain what I have with my health. But part of it is leg weakness, arm weakness, chronic fatigue. So I got to deal with that too. You know, push myself through doing dishes 3 times a day, preparing pureed meals, trying to figure out how can I turn this meal into something, you know, and I was actually pureeing my foods with an old-fashioned food processor, big old clunky thing. And Senior Life had promised us to give us what's called a bullet, I think it's called. That took a long, long, long time, but they finally did get that for us. I'm glad we finally have that now. But yeah, so caring for him, caring for the dog, caring for the finances, not caring for the finances, well, I guess it would be just every single thing as if I was living alone, but caring for somebody and a dog. It has been so hard. You can't even imagine. I mean, you get anxiety on top of all of that. It's bad. But so there's a story. Like I said, like I told you, I went into the store. It was actually the dollar store, and I don't ever go there by myself. I had to go there. I can't remember. I think it was for some sodas or something. I can't remember what it was. But I knew when I got in the car, my legs were very, very weak. And I had to actually take my rollator and pick it up and put it in the car myself. Kenny used to do that for me, so I had to do that. And that kind of weakened me even more. So I got in the car and I drove over to the dollar store. And then when I went to get out, I got my rollator out of the car and I started to feel that sobbing coming on. Well, I took my rollator out, and as soon as I did, I felt the heaviness in my legs. As I started to walk into the store, it felt like I was walking in quicksand. So I was going so slow, and the more I walked, the heavier my legs were feeling. So this this guy, he came. It was weird. I mean, he just seemed to have appeared out of nowhere. He was kind of a younger guy. He looked like he was in his 20s. And at first I thought he was working there at the store. Well, he kind of was pulling the cart out, and then he came toward me and he says, do you need a cart? Can I get a cart for you? And I said no, and then all of a sudden, wham, I started crying so hard. And then he kind of was panicking. And he says, is there anything I can get for you? Can I get you a drink? Can I get you some food? And I was like, can you help me I need a couple of sodas, I think is what it was. So he says, yeah, you wait here and I'll get them for you. Is there anything you need to eat? Tell me, I'll get you anything. I felt bad, but I was so busy sobbing. But first he's like, okay, well, what's going on? What's the matter? And then he goes, you wait here. So I sat down on my rollator, because my rollator has a seat. It's like a little buggy thing, but there's a little seat on it. And it's perfect for people who have leg issues and they need to sit down, you know, take a rest. So that's what I did. And he went and got the drinks. God bless him. And then after he got the drinks, he says, just wait a second, I'll go over and pay for this stuff. So he took a little while. I mean, I think there was a long line. And then he finally got the stuff, and he got really big thing of, not a 2-liter, but a big thing, 2 big things of soda, if I can remember right. And then there was something else I'll let you know here in a second. But so he comes up to me and he says, so what's going on with you? Tell me what's going on. And then I tried to explain, but I was crying so hard. He thought that I said that I was caring for my grandfather or grandmother or something. I don't know. But he goes, can I pray for you? And I said, definitely. I'm a believer, and I believe in the power of prayer. So he prayed over me. I thought it was just so wonderful, this guy. He didn't know me from anything. I mean, he went and got stuff for me. He bought stuff for me. He cared. He asked me what was going on. He prayed for me. He prayed over me. And then he says, here, I'll walk you to your car. So as we were going to almost, you know, we were getting out to the doors there. And he says, here, don't say no. He says, here, I want you to have this. He gave me $40. $40. And I needed this really, really bad. I needed the money really bad. We were broke. I wasn't even sure how I was going to pay for the sodas when I went in the store. So God was with me that day. I mean, He was with me every day, but He showed up. He showed up through that guy. So He took me to my car. He put my rollator in my car for me. He put my drinks in my front seat for me. He helped me into the car. He prayed again. It was just wonderful. It was just wonderful. I'm going to get a drink. Hang on. I have a dry throat. Okay, guys. I'm back. I have, oh, what is it called? It's like a fruity drink. I can't remember what it's called. And then I put some orange drink in with it. I mixed it in. So. And I remember watching Llama Mama, which I do all the time, but I saw these. I think these are the ones that she gets. Freeze-dried fruit crisps. So I thought I'd give them a try, and I've already tried them, but where can I put this? Put it on the floor. These are the ones I'm going to try. Or eat, actually. I've already tried them. Asian pears fruit crisps. Yeah. Okay, there it is. This little, see? And they are good. Not terrific, but they're good. Okay. So I ended up leaving that store. And I was just like in awe. You know, God showed up for me again. He let me know, you may be stressed out. You're going through a lot, but I have not left you. I am here. I will never forsake you. So that was pretty awesome. God showed up with somebody caring for me, let me know I'm not alone, bought me my stuff when I didn't have the money for it, helped me when I was too weak, prayed over me. And and then the extra money, and that helped us tremendously. So, and I couldn't wait to get home and tell Hubby Cubby what had happened. And I told everybody else on Facebook. Yes, I did. Because I love to do that when God, I call them not coincidences, I can't say the word, but God incidences. And that's what it is. So that was my little story about the dollar store. So now, fast forward from May, because that started in May with my husband going into the hospital, having 4 days staying at the hospital, and then a new home health, people coming in and out and in and out and in and out of our house for like a month, and all of that stress. And then hubby going from not being able to hardly even walk from the couch, you know, to the other side of the room. He's gone from that to now he can actually go all over the house. He can't, you know, go real fast or anything because he does have COPD and emphysema, and like I said, the Zinkers, diverticulum still, atherosclerosis, the plaque, you know, what else? Just all kinds of stuff. It's hard for him still to do a lot, but he's doing much better. He is able to walk up the steps. He's able to bathe himself. We don't need a potty chair downstairs anymore. Different things like that. And he's able to help me out with smaller things around the house, so I'm not constantly doing everything myself now. I'm still doing a lot, but I'm not doing everything. So less healthcare workers. There's still lots of appointments. He's at one today, actually. He was afraid to have this done, and I wanted to go with him, but he goes to the Senior Life Center every Thursday, and this doctor's appointment actually, well, not doctor's appointment, but he had to go into the hospital and have a scan done and have dye put in him first. And he was anxious about that because he was never a person to go to the doctor and hospital and things like that. So he wanted me to go, but with the transportation with Senior Life, since he was trying to save them gas money, actually, you know, instead of having them pick him up here, take him to the hospital, and then drive them back home, and then have them go back to the center, and then have to drive other people that were at the center that day home. So instead of doing that, because I'm not allowed to go to the center with them. I can go with the transportation with them, but I'm not allowed to go to the senior center. So that prevented me from going to the hospital with him today, because he was going to the hospital first, and then Senior Life was picking him up from there and taking him to the senior center for a few hours and then bringing him home. So I wasn't able to go with him today. So I'm thinking of him today. You know, I know, I didn't tell him yesterday, but I know that when they do that, they have to stick a really long needle into your vein. It's really long, like that long. It goes way in, and oh, that hurts so bad in the hand. But they said everybody that comes in contact with doing something with his veins, they always say, "Oh, you have such nice veins." So hopefully there was no problem with that. Hopefully there was no problem with him being allergic to the dye that they had to put into him. I'm not exactly sure. Let me look and see if I can find the date in this book. Today's testing was, it doesn't say, but it's at the hospital. At 7 a.m. he had to take a pill called metoprolol, and I guess it's sort of like, I remember, Benadryl. It's sort of like Benadryl, I guess. So hopefully that will help him if he has an issue. Hopefully he doesn't have an issue. Okay, so back to, like I said, less healthcare workers now. Still lots of appointments. And before, I was having to put everything of mine on hold because his was so overwhelming with all the appointments, all the caregiving, all the things that I had to do around here. My health was being put on hold. And there was a lot that I have to get done. But he's doing much better. Things are not as stressful as they were. So he actually now was told, he went to see a specialist the other day, his consultation for his throat surgery. They're going to staple that pouch up instead of cutting his throat and then removing the pouch. But the doctor did say you need to sign off on a paper that if I can't see well enough in your throat to do the stapling, that you will allow me to cut whatever somewhere in his throat there and take out the pouch. And so he did. But my issues, I have a lot going on, and I'll tell you some of them, but the biggest one right now is I went into my doctor, and I can't remember what I went in for. I think it was several things I was just talking to her about. And then I told her, I said, oh, and yeah, I got this lump right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Right here. Well, anyway, she felt that, and then she was like alarmed. And she says that it is hard, not rubbery. It's fixed, not movable. It's very large. And you need to have that looked at. So I had to have a scan of some type. All these scans are kind of running together. Kenny's and mine's, I don't even know what they're called anymore. But, so I had that looked at. And it turns out I have multiple nodules on my thyroid. So they're going to have to biopsy. And it turns out that the left side has issues, and I didn't even feel anything in the left side. I just thought it was that right there, because I can really feel this one. This is big. But it turns out that there's some suspicious ones, not good. And the doctor, actually, I looked in my doctor's notes, the portal thing that you can do online. Doctor portal, whatever, I don't know what it's called. My portal. And it said in there, in the doctor's notes, that may well be cancer. I hope to God not. Yeah. Because I'm not only having, you know, feeling that and having them there, but the room has been spinning. Like when I lay down, the room spins. That's happened several times. And then a couple days back, when I bent down, you know, bent down to get in the refrigerator, and all of a sudden the room started spinning. Or if I turn my head a certain way, the room spins. And then I've got like full body sweats with that. So I have to have the air on a lot, and that's hard for my husband because he's very, very thin, and so he's wearing a couple layers of clothing just to stay warm because I need to stay cool, you know. It's a mess. And if I take showers, I mean, why did I even shower? Because when I get out, immediately I'm sweating. I mean, not just sweating, like really all over my body. So yeah. And then I have a colonoscopy coming up. I'm having all kinds of issues, you know, bad. Sometimes if I like bend down to get something, bend over, all of a sudden my intestine will go like this, and it will flip, and it will get into a spasm, a hard spasm. Oh, you never felt so much pain. And I don't know why it's doing that. And I've got, I'm having, and I'm going to give you some TMI here. I think I may have internal hemorrhoids, or there's some kind of a blockage going on because I'm having severe bloating, having trouble going to the bathroom, impacted. I do have a hemorrhoid on the outside, but there's something that is not allowing me to pass my stool. And when I am able to, it's the size, and this is no kidding, of a marker or even a pencil. And I know that's dangerous, and it's kind of pale, and that's dangerous. I need to have this looked at. I've got gallstones, and they've been bugging me about that for a while, so I'm going to be seen about that. Gallbladder, gallstones. And then constantly, this thing with my rib, that has been since 2008. I fell on the ice, and I slammed really hard on my rib cage. And then ever since then I've been having issues, but it's constant pain and it is really bad. So I seen somebody about that and it's been years, you know, they've told me this, they've told me that, but nobody has given me a strategy of what to do. It's just painkillers. Well, finally this guy that I seen a few days back, thoracic surgeon, he told me, oh yes, it's real. I'm like, yeah, no kidding, it's real. Did you think it was all in my head? Because he was feeling, and he was having me cough, and he was feeling as I coughed up under my rib cage. And I guess the rib is actually getting caught up in there. And I guess he said something about most people's ribs go a certain way, like in and out, whatever, sliding, and mine does the opposite. I'm not quite sure what he means, but I had somebody refer me to him because he was the one that was actually, there's a procedure where they were saying it was my 12th rib, and that he would actually, the surgeon would take out that 12th rib, and hopefully that would help. But he says, let me get a drink. The thoracic surgeon says that's kind of an old-fashioned procedure now. So there's a new procedure, relatively new. Somebody in West Virginia that he knows that does this procedure, that they are, and this thoracic surgeon told me he thinks it's actually not my 12th rib, it might be my 11th rib. But he said the new procedure, what they do, he doesn't do, but this person in West Virginia does, and I don't know how I'm going to get to West Virginia with all that's going on, and I don't drive that far. I don't know how that's going to happen. It probably won't happen. I don't know if I'm going to get this taken care of or not. But so the new procedure is they take that rib and staple it up to, they take the floating rib and staple it up to the 11th rib, I guess, or something like that. But it sounds like the answer of what I was looking for. But now, how am I going to get there? And even if I get there, I'm going to have to stay somewhere. You know, and how am I going to get back? My husband's not going to be able to take me. He has throat surgery coming up. You know, another thing, I don't know. He's not in health to do I don't have anybody to take me. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But, so I wanted to update you. Oh, I wanted to show you Jiggy too. Jiggy, hey baby, come here honey. I know I'm waking you up. I know. I wanted to show you my doggy, how he's lost hair. And it's really weird. I mean, he scratches. I feel so bad for him. Can you see? Look at all the hair he's lost. All around his neck. All around his side. There. In his back. It's really bad around his neck. And it's not the pad that I have on him, because he's worn these for, you know, almost 14 years. So it's not that. So I don't know. Oh, my little Bubba. I love you. You can go back. But the veterinarian gave some medicated shampoo for us to use, and at first it was 2 times a week that we were supposed to do it, and then we went back and I actually saw a different vet. Wasn't happy with that one. Went to this new one. She basically said the same thing as the other one. For now, use the medicated shampoo on them, but do it every other day. This is so hard on me. So hard on me. Oh, I need a break. But we do what we gotta do, right guys? So we gotta figure out what's going on with him, because apparently the medicated shampoo is only good for, like, I'll use it for a day and he's good. And then the next day, he's feeling a little sweaty. His stomach feels warm. He's red. I did feel, a couple of times I actually seen something about that big under his skin. And then I took it and gently, very gently, went like that. And it felt like, you know, those bubble wrap things that you get when you get packages. Well, it kind of felt like I pushed that and it just went pop, just like air, and then it was gone. That lump wasn't there anymore. It was so weird. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We'll find out what's going on. I don't know. I told my husband, I said, I don't think that I would ever be able to put down my dog. I mean, it would have to be where I absolutely did not have the money to pay for like outrageous bills to, I don't know, you know what I mean. I couldn't live with myself. I don't know how I'd live with myself if I had to put my dog down. He is like my life, you know, my husband and my dog, and my God. My God should be first. They're my life. I don't know. So, wanted to let you know, there'll probably be less posts, videos, because I'm going to pop them in here and there when I can. They'll be sporadic. I'm crocheting as I can. I have some things that you guys are really going to like that I crocheted, and I want to show you in my next video. I didn't want to do it on this one because this one's a long video. And this one's basically just explaining things to you guys. But I do have some really cool makes that I want to show you guys. So I want to let you know, it is wonderful to be back. I'm glad that I finally am getting this video out to you all. And yeah, I hope you stuck. Well, if you're still here at this point, I want to thank you very much for sticking with it and for letting me explain what's going on. And I just wanted to apologize to everybody out there for just disappearing. But I wanted to let you know what happened. There's a lot happening, still a lot happening. And like I said, this channel is going to be life updates, chats about that stuff, and my hobbies. And mostly my hobby is yarn, but I do have some other things, so. And I can't wait to show you the things that I have recently made and am making, so. Yeah. I know there's things I probably forgot to tell you guys. I mean, it's not just, I have so much more going on with my health than what I told you. You got just a piece. You got just a piece. But yeah, I have some major things going on that I have to have testing for, and hubby's not done testing, and he's got surgery coming up, and blah, blah. You know, did I tell you? They'll probably take out my thyroid, and I'm hoping that it's not cancer. Oh my gosh. Really hoping. So I know there's 3 kinds of cancer, and papillary is the one, if you get cancer of the thyroid, that's the one that you would want out of the 3. Because my understanding is papillary doesn't spread, but I don't know if I have it right or not, but the other 2 may spread. The other 2 kinds, I don't know. So we got things up in the air, and I'll update you as I can. But great to be with you guys. Thank you for being here, and yeah, tune in for my next one because I want to show you my stuff, my makes. All right, guys, I love you. So glad to be back. You take care. Hey, I am going to say this on this channel too. Even though it was for my last one, I want to do it on this one too. It's time for some snips, some shells, and weaving in them darn yarn tails. See you next time, guys. I love you. Bye-bye.